Hey everyone, happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great week after Thanksgiving. How many of you, I wonder, have all of your shopping done, everything wrapped, the tree is up? I'm not like, when my kids were young, I always decorated for Christmas. And I think since we've lived in Alaska, which was in 2010, I've put up three Christmas trees. And I have two Christmas decorations up this year. I have a wreath on either side of our front porch. And that's the whole extent of the Christmas decorations for this girl this year. So doing a lot of other things besides decorating for Christmas. So to all of you, hello, welcome. If you'd like to say hi, you can pop it in the comment section. I'm excited to have my really good friend, Jeff Soha, with me. The funny thing about Jeff is he's funny and he doesn't try to be funny. And sometimes when I laugh at the silly things he says, I think he probably thinks I'm laughing at him, which maybe some of the time that's true, but I'm just really excited for you guys to meet Jeff. So Jeff, welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
You are so
Nothing
welcome.
like a little Facebook Live.
Yeah, we're Facebook to my boot camp. So hi boot camp, where there's Maria. She's in the
Hey,
UK.
boot
Hey
camp.
Maria. To the free women's page, to my business page, to LinkedIn, and to YouTube,
Jeez.
all
Hello,
at one
world.
time. Talk about like
Yes.
no more trading time for money. We're handling. And there's Dr. Sheree. She's in Minnesota. So Sheree, welcome as well. So
Hello.
Jeff, let's jump in. And as all of you well know, we love doing business with people we know, like, and trust. So I want you to enjoy Jeff as much as I do. So I ask him to first start with telling us just like, who are you? And then we're going to jump into a prelude for the 3M Marketing, Money, and Mindset Mastermind Summit. It starts this Thursday. It's free to all of you. The first stuff that we're going to talk about is marketing, how to future proof your practice, and the importance of branding. And my CMO Andrea from Legacy Creative will be teaching that this coming Thursday. Then the next Thursday is Jeff, and he's teaching us all about how do we stop this insanity of trading time for money. How do we move ourselves into true financial independence? And then on the 16th, I'm helping you with mindset, breaking down those limiting beliefs so that we can just live in our natural state, which is in peace, joy, and love. So Jeff, tell us about you. Tell us your story.
Yeah, thanks, Barbara. So I have a real heart for probably most of the people who are watching us right now that are self-made, they're entrepreneurs. They took this great leap of faith at some point in their life and said, hey, I'm going to go make something out of nothing, which, looking back on it, I think most of us that have done anything entrepreneurial probably think, geez, I don't know if that was out of ignorance or just crazy or I don't know. But, God bless the broken road that got us here. I think that self-made entrepreneurs are really special. And I grew up in a family-owned construction company. My grandpa started in 1950. So it's on third generation. And, so I grew up listening to all of the pain and everything that they go through. And then especially when it comes to money and finances, there was always this mindset of like, well, the really wealthy must fill in the blank. Well, I bet the people who are really wealthy, whatever, right? And so I don't know if that seed just like sprouted in me, and I thought, you know what? Well, I'm going to go figure out what the really wealthy do, and what do they do with their money? What do they? How do what do they do with their taxes? Everybody says, oh, the really wealthy don't pay all their tax. Okay, well, if that's true, then I want to know how, so that I can
Yes.
go help the people like my
Yes.
family or
Mhm.
my friends or all of you and be like, hey, guess what? This is what I've learned. And so I got this unique opportunity. I was able to do some part-time lobbying work for a couple of PACs to Congress on tax legislation. That was super exciting. It kind of kicked off like this whole research into the tax world. I've just had a lot of really unique opportunities. I was able to go back to school later in life to Harvard Business School and study up there. I've just had some really unique things that have allowed me to try to take all of it, distill it down, and say, hey, look, it's hard enough to go have a successful business. I think it's something like only like 4% of businesses ever even get over 1 million in revenue, not even income, just revenue. It's like, it's hard. Okay. And so you've got all these people, they're always wanting to take stuff from you and sell stuff to you and just like distract you from the golden goose that you're, building there, that's producing all of this for you. And usually investing in yourself and your business is going to be the best investment in your life. And so how do we just help you capture and retain more of all of that you're working for, so that one day your assets might be able to take care of you, you know? So that's just a little bit about my, background and the work that I like doing.
I remember distinctly a couple of things, and you and I have talked about this several times on subsequent conversations. So Jeff's kind of like true north when helping people is to find out, like, what do you want to do with this wonderful life that you have, and then how can we make sure that there's enough money in your future that's waiting there for you. So what do you want to do when you're 40? Well, let's make sure there's enough money waiting for you there. And like, what about 50? What about 60? What about 70? What about 80? And who's involved? And I loved how simple that was. Like, what do I want? And then how do I fund that? And let's put that all together. So that's one of the things that I've really loved exploring with Jeff, and that all of you will have the opportunity to do that as well. And then another is just the idea of, we think that there's so many who are so ultra successful, and yet there really aren't that many. What is it? A half a percent generates more than 1 million. What was that again? It's like really,
No,
really small.
the amount of taxpayers with over 1 million in income is only about 500,000. So that really puts you at less than 2%, less than 0.2% of the population.
So the number of taxpayers in the US who generate
more than 1 million of income.
More 1 million of income per year is less than what?
0.2%.
0.2%.
It's about 500,000 a year.
About 500,000 people. So, I mean, is the comparison game healthy? No, but it's kind of fun. So look at like kind of where you're at there. If you're doing 1 million a year, you're one of 500,000 people in the entire United States. Like, that's pretty freaking cool. 100 thumbs, like, hands up to you. And if you're not there and you desire to be there, then you for sure want to join us on December the 16th, because we're going to share with you ways in which to do that. And here's the deal. I know Jeff well enough that it's not going to be a huge to-do list, right? I don't know any entrepreneur that needs another thing to do. So Jeff, how do we start moving in the direction of time for money? And let's first, like, just real quickly, because I know you got a hard stop, give the mind-blowing, like, why do we all feel that as soon as I get to this much amount of money, then I can stop working so hard? I just want to get to this amount so I don't have to start work so hard. You and I had that conversation. It was really just kind of like, wow, mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think most people are in one of two categories. Your goals and everything probably could be summed up and be described as this desire to cross the freedom threshold, is what I call it. And I don't think it's necessarily about retirement. People talk about financial independence, they talk about all these things, but really it's this sense of freedom. And so it's once you get to a place of knowing where you're like, you know what? I have built my financial life in a way that gives me freedom. And one thing that I found kind of in my study of wealth and wealthy people is that, rich people have money, but wealthy people have time. Okay. So once you cross that freedom threshold and you say, now I feel this sense of freedom, then the whole world starts to shift financially. And they generally start to think about legacy and impact and what am I going to be able to do with my life, versus just feeling like I've got to grind and hustle and do whatever and take on any client and any opportunity to try to make some more money. But once you map that out, what most people think is that they need a lot more money than they really do. And so when you really do the math on the cash flow that you need to do the things you want in life, the number's probably a lot less than what you really think it is. So we want to help everyone to cross that freedom threshold. And there's ways to accelerate that. Like, okay, we're coming up on December. We're going to do this session here in a couple weeks where it's going to be literally like the last second Hail Mary play before the end of the year. You got like no time left. But even with 2 weeks left in the year after our session, I'll give you some takeaways that'll be like, hey, look, here's some basic stuff. Just do these things, and no, it's probably not going to change your life, but if it saves you 10 or 20 or $50,000, that's money that's just going to help accelerate your reaching or crossing that freedom threshold.
Yeah, like who does, who wants to easily, and what happened? Who wants to easily have 10, 20, 30, up to $50,000 more with just a few insights? Me. Like, who doesn't, right? So
Yeah.
that's why on the 16th, join Jeff and I, 1 to 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And here's the deal. Even if you can't join us live, you still want to register so you can catch the replay. What you're going to miss by not being live with us is we are very interactive. Like we want to take questions and make it a discussion as well. Jeff has agreed to even doing a Q&A afterwards. So I know if you're in the boot camp, there are many of you who've been asking, like, what about a second business? What about another source of income? Like, this is the guy. I don't know if you caught, like, Harvard. You went to Harvard. That's not an easy thing to do.
It was easier than you think, okay?
Easier than you think. All right, so this guy's like stupid smart. I remember him, like, what you were doing, like college math and what, kindergarten or something, like
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like,
It wasn't that extreme.
okay,
No.
I'm sorry, it was first grade or something. It was obscene, whatever it was. And at any rate, he's really smart. He's pretty funny as well, and extremely knowledgeable. And one thing I love about Jeff is and really the whole, like, I met Jeff through Garrett, and that whole group is just like the most unassuming people. So we are, regardless of where you're at right now, know that this is one frame of the movie of your life. This isn't the last frame of your life. Where you are now is just where you are, has nothing to do with where you're going. So whether you have a lot of money or you don't have a lot of money, whether you have a lot of money knowledge or you don't, like, we want to hang out with you on December the 16th. And I promise you, we're both so wrapped up in our own thinking. We're not thinking about like what your financial status means. We're just there to serve you. So Jeff, any last minute words before we sign off?
Well, you talked a little bit about like comparison and mindset. And I'll just tell you something that I've learned from, over a decade of working with, I don't know, 1,000 entrepreneurs who are all doing really well. Everybody thinks that if you perceive someone to make more money than you, most people don't actually know what each other makes or what their financial balance sheet or financial statement looks like. So most of the things that influence your perception are materialistic. And most of the wealthiest people I know, you wouldn't know them from anyone else walking down the street. So, but when you perceive someone else to be wealthier than you think that they're smarter, they're more successful, they have it together. And I'll tell you, oftentimes the only difference is they have an extra zero. They need all the same help. So don't feel like, oh, well, I can't get there unless I have a certain level of success, or I don't have enough, or I'm not doing enough. Because you can make a huge difference in your life just with some discipline and structure, regardless of how many zeros you have on your paycheck.
And the other thing I think is so interesting is you and I have had this discussion. There doesn't seem to be a place to get to dollar amount where there isn't a worry about money, right? Like,
No,
even
look, what
a
Bezos got divorced. They get, like billionaires run out of stuff to do with their money, so now they build spaceships. I mean, like, what do you like? Okay, you think they're happy and content? No, they still have all this tension and stuff that they want to do, and stuff that's still driving them. So we just have to recognize that tension and realize there's always going to be more ideas and opportunities than we have time and money. But that's okay. Like, it's your life. You get one life. So let's just map out like what gives you peace and joy. Let that be the filter for what you want in life.
Yes. And that's the beauty of starting with marketing this week, and then Jeff on the 16th for money, and then me on Jeff on the 9th for money, and me the 16th for mindset. Is I want you all to be able to see that thinking creates our reality, and there isn't a dollar amount that's ever going to make you feel financially secure.
No,
It doesn't exist. I remember you were telling me
no.
that one of your clients has like a
Gotta
net worth of
go.
like 600 million or something, and still has many of the same concerns. So Jeff's saying he's got to go. So
Yeah.
let's see you later, everyone. We'll see you this Thursday at
Bye.
1 o'clock Eastern. Grab your seat. Bye.
See ya.